Today's figure is the hothead of My Hero Academia. That's right, we're talking about the amazing Yamaguchi Endeavor, and let's take a look at this box. Outside of the box, once again, we get that amazing Yamaguchi, amazing packaging. We got Endeavor pose right here. It looks like we get a cool little effect. Look at the figure inside of the packaging. Inside the box, we get another image of Endeavor. Once again, some cool stills of the anime. Other side of the box, we have Endeavor. Well, actually, several images of Endeavor. Just a really cool, colorful packaging. I love the amazing Yamaguchi packaging. If I can say anything about amazing Yamaguchi packaging, once again, amazing. Back of the box, images of the figure, and it's letting us know what comes inside. 4 types of face plates, 8 types of eye parts. If you saw my All Might review, those eye parts weren't all that to write home about. I'm curious to see if these eye parts would be any different. Bottom of the box, we get an awesome image for the anime of Endeavor. Pretty sweet. If you didn't know, this little image of the logo of My Hero Academia, what it says at the bottom is subscribe to open, please. Also on the back of the box, what I missed, it looks like we get a bunch of effects. I'm excited to check this out. You know how we do it. Go ahead and say those 2 magic words.
Oh, baby.
All right, and once again, it's a ton of, look at all this stuff. We have all these flame effects and hands and faces and stands, and amazing Yamaguchi really comes through with the accessories. I mean, just check this out. They also come through with the backdrops. You get this awesome backdrop image of Endeavor. Pretty cool, pretty sweet. Once again, it's a nice image. I really dig the artwork from My Hero Academia, so it's nice to have. Putting it back in the box, but it's nice to have. All right, we got a lot to look at. We also got instructions on how to put all this stuff together. I could Google translate this or just look at the images that are on here, which is probably what I'll end up doing unless I hit a roadblock. But man, take a look at how sweet this figure looks, the aesthetics of it. I mean, and listen, let me tell you, Endeavor along with All Might are 2 of the big powerhouses, 2 of the biggest characters, and I'm assuming the biggest figures because this does have a little weight to it. It's hefty, it feels solid in your hands. Which, look at this face right here with all the flame effects on the back of the figure. I mean, that just looks so awesome. These boots, the flame effects on the boots. This dude just looks fired up, no pun intended. And I gotta say, this figure is fire. It's fire puns. Come on, he's fire. He's awesome. I mean, the metallic look on these shoulder pads and this wristband here, as well as on the wrists. Belt is really sweet, which also has flame effects. This also has those little dots everywhere, and it's going to be for the effects and the stands, as you saw probably in my All Might review. If you haven't seen it, there's a card up here, and if not, there's a link at the end of the description. You can watch it after this video, because man, I'm really digging the orange. Like, it could be a little bit to just the design of the character. Like, Endeavor just like an awesome angry hero that you grow to love once you find out his backstory. At first, he just seems like an a-hole dad, and he is, but later on he tries to recover and get his kids going, which if you haven't seen My Hero Academia, I cannot recommend it enough. Even if you haven't seen My Hero Academia, this is an awesome figure. Really has like superhero wrestler vibes. Of course, it's amazing Yamaguchi, so his articulation is going to be awesome. His arms can't go up too high, but you can at least get a T out of them. A lot of crunch in it. The joints on this figure feel way tighter than they did on All Might. It's still fluid, but they're tight, so you don't feel like it's gonna fall apart in your hands. But once again, look at that articulation. He can ball up on you. Get a ton of lean back on them. You do see gaps once you move it around in certain places, but that's most figures, and I'm not really too upset about it. But there's articulation on the flame effects, so I'm assuming if he's flying, you can move these things around and pose them differently. Don't think any of these flame effects pull off actually. What you can do is get these other flame effects that come with the figure, because you get 4 of these flame effects right here, which once again, I mean, just looking at these effects, the paintwork on here, that gradient from yellow to orange looks really awesome. These also have little holes on it, so I'm pretty sure you can put stuff on these as well. But Endeavor has holes all over his body, so you can put these effects on. So when he's more fired up or he's flying, you can have some like flame effects coming out of him. For instance, we got these 2 there on his back that look pretty awesome. These other 2 go into the side of his body right here, which you can angle it to make sure you can put it on there, and then you can kind of turn it and articulate it in whatever way you want to have it on there. But I mean, that looks pretty sweet right there once you have all these extra flame effects coming. So he's kind of like powering up, which just looks pretty cool. You also have a ton of these extra little power effects for like blast and hands, and I don't know, we'll take a look and see where they all go right now. It looks like these round ones attached to one another, so you can put those together, but you probably want to put it on the figure first. So let's see where they go. And these hands have little slots where you can put the peg in there. According to the instructions at least, I don't see it visually, but we'll see. Yeah, there's slight little holes in the hands so you can put the pegs in there. It's a tiny, tiny hole. But it exists because the peg is in there. So just let me put it back in on this thing. All right, there we go. Then you just attach it like so. Then you got an awesome effect on there that pops off very easily. So you gotta be careful. Man, it's really difficult to put. So there he is with the flame effects on his hands. You also have slots on the back of the feet, which there you go. You got all the flame effects on there. There's different locations where you can put them on there, which is probably just the easiest to show you in the B-roll. You have the fist that have the slot on there, so you got the flame effects a little bit further forward. You have these holes on the forearm, so you can put the flame effects on there. You have these holes at the top of the leg, so you can put the flame effect on the top of the leg. Or if you want them to have more like a flight combustion look, there's hole pegs at the bottom of the feet. So it looks like he has a combustion flight effect from the bottom of his feet. Just a quick tip, you want to make sure you put the side with the peg in first, and then you'll put this other slot around it. That's just gonna make it easier on you. You want to really make sure that peg's inside before you put the other side on it, because it's a little difficult. You also have these other shaped effects, which are a little bit longer, as you can see here, which will probably be best for the forearms now that I think about it. Slide it into the slot, and man, you gotta really push on these things. You can get the other section. Wait, where do these go? Honestly, it's fairly difficult to get these flame effects around his arms. If they're supposed to be one piece, which it seems like they're supposed to, like there's not much wiggle room to like get them to connect. I was trying to put on the wrist right here, but actually there's a little hole in the elbow that might make it a little bit easier to put on there if you don't break it off. I already broke off a piece. I've been struggling with this because there's holes on the forearm, which I don't know what goes there. And then you have holes on the elbow and then a hole in the hand. It would look like you're able to put this piece on the forearm, but it doesn't close up. I tried putting one in the little hole that's in the elbow and I ended up breaking one of them. It looks like the only place that it can go is in the fist, and then you get the effect like so. I would also like to have it a little higher up on the forearm, which I thought which is what this piece is for. Obviously it's not, and I broke a piece and I wasted about an hour of my day. So learn from me and just put it in the hand. I don't know what these other holes are for. Like, I guess if you do want something on the forearm, you just have to put it by itself like so, which is still kind of cool. Or if you want it put together, you have to put it on the fist. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe I was just doing it wrong. I was probably doing it wrong. It's still cool stuff. I'm not disappointed yet because we got so much more. Like we get this face here which is like angry grinning face. We get this face, which is like a battle damage face. One of his eyeballs is all jacked up. And then we have this yelling, screaming face. As you can tell, all these eyes are a little bit different. Of course, this one you have the one with a bloody eye. This face here, you have him looking up. This one, the eyeballs are just whited out. And you do get a ton of little extra eyeball effects. You get one with him looking up into the side. You get one with him looking down, so if you can do a flying effect, you can have that going. You have this one here where he's looking a little bit to the right. You have this one here with him looking a little bit to the left. And then you have these eyeballs that are just completely whited out. Then of course the face that was on the figure and the eyeballs that were on the figure, him just looking forward. Now you can interchange these eyeballs and they look like they're a lot easier than that All Might one was. All Might had these little eyes that slide into slots, so I wasn't a fan of. These ones, I believe, just detach like so, and they're able to replace them very easy. Slide them off, slide them on, so you can have all the different faces, different looks. Really, really super easy. Just switch them out, which is really cool. Changing out the heads, the whole neck comes off. Then this whole thing kind of comes apart. So you want to make sure that you keep this piece on there, slot this other head back on there. All right. And then you just put the neck back on there. And there you go. Quick head swap. It's a little bit of a pain having to take everything apart, but it's pretty easy. Of course, since I just broke something, I was a little bit scared. But you get good articulation. The head, he looks up. That came off. I didn't have that on right. Another quick tip, if you do switch out the heads, make sure you take off the eyes first, because these things are pretty sharp. So if you try to do it with it on there, you're just going to be poking your hand. When you have them off, it's a little easier to manage the face. Then easy peasy, you just slide the eyes back on there. That's pretty cool. We also get a ton of hands. You have these slightly open palm gripping hands. You have these slightly closed hands. And then you get this other hand, which is a slightly more closed hand. Because you get this other accessory, which is this phone. Nobody likes leaving home without their phone. Endeavor is no different. You can slide that phone in there, have him texting whoever it might be. Maybe he's watching YouTube videos. He's subscribing to Open Please like you should. Don't piss off Endeavor. Hit that subscribe button. And last but not least, we get these two flame fists, which nice gradient effect on these fists. nice yellow to orange on there. Like the little paintwork on there, like that little effect. Those are really, really cool. So if you saw my All Might review and you saw the stand and how flimsy that one was, I'm assuming this one's no different. Now, one thing about this figure is that all these peg holes are very difficult to like put something in. All right, so Endeavor's on the stand, and yeah, this thing is flimsy out of the box. You can tighten it up. We'll see. I mean, it didn't really work with All Might, but let's see if Endeavor is any different. All right, and to tighten it up, and it got somewhat of a flight pose going. It's holding up fairly well once you tighten it up. So this one isn't as bad as that All Might one was. You know, if you tilt it forward, of course, the weight's gonna pull it forward, apparently. All right, so what's the verdict? Figure itself is cool. Having all the effects is cool. It's just difficult. All this stuff is difficult. The stands are trash. I really just want to love this figure. Like, I really do. I really want to love this figure. I love the way it looks. I love the articulation on it. It's cool that they added all this extra stuff for it, but if you can't use it, then it's worthless. So I'm sure doing all the B-rolls is gonna suck, but hopefully I figure something out so it's entertaining for you guys. If you want to use a flight stand, you pose it and you just leave it. Listen, I'm a big My Hero Academia fan. Like I said, I really wish that the things that I want to be awesome and just step it up to the next level worked. They don't as much as I want them to work, but it's cool. It's not the worst thing ever. You get a lot of stuff, and if you're able to figure it out and not break anything, then it could be a good figure. Listen, I'm at the end of this review, and I hate when stuff doesn't work. It just completely bums me out. You know what bums me out even more? Is when I find out people are watching the video and not subscribing, so hit that subscribe button. If you guys want to watch my All Might video, click this video right here. If you guys like Dragon Ball Z, click this playlist right here. Appreciate you guys stopping by. We'll see you guys next time.